I'll wait for video.
Okay, let's get down to business. The way I see it, someone's out to make a sequel. You know, cash in on all the movie murder hoopla. So it's our job to observe the rules of the sequel. Number 1, the body count is always bigger. Number 2, the death scenes are always much more elaborate. More blood, more gore. Carnage, candy. Your core audience just expects it. And number 3, if you want your sequel to become a franchise, never, ever...
How do we find the killer, Randy? That's what I want to know.
Oh, let's look at the suspects. There's Derek, the obvious boyfriend. Hello, Billy Loomis. The guy's pre-madness. Pity me, surface wound conveniently missed every major vein and artery.
So you think it's Derek?
Not so fast. Let's assume the killer, or Urs, has a half a brain. He's not a Nick at Night rerun type of guy. He wants to break some new ground. Right? So forget the boyfriend. It's tired. Who else do we got?
There's...
Mickey, the freaky Tarantino film student. But if he's a suspect, so am I. So let's move on.
Well, let's not move on. Maybe you are a suspect.
Well, if I'm a suspect, you're a suspect.
You have a point. Okay, let's move on to...
Hallie.
Sid Toomey?
Mm-hmm.
Serial killers are typically white males.
That's why it's perfect. It's sort of against the rules, but not really. Mrs. Voorhees was a terrific serial killer, and there's always room for Candyman's daughter. She's sweet. She's deadly. She's bad for your teeth.
Come on, Randy. These kids are your friends. Who do you think's the killer?
How about Gail Weathers?
Gail? A killer?
Why not?
Well, she is vicious enough.
She's an opportunist.
Yeah.
Isn't it conceivable she's planning her next book? That's what reporters do, Dewey. They stage the news.
No, Gail's a lot of things, but Gail's not a killer.
Listen, just because you're sweet on her.
No, I'm not.
Please, this is me talking, Randy. The unrequited love slave of Sidney Prescott. I know all about obsession. And pain.
And you've got your love scar to prove it.
And so do you. And what's with that limp anyway? Because you were stabbed in the back.
Severed nerve. Look, Gail's no killer.
Okay, whatever you say. But if she's not a killer, she's a target.
Going on, ladies and gentlemen, Cyberland, coming back to you with another film review. And this time we're moving on, or not moving on, coming back to a sequel to one of my favorite horror films. Scream 2. Well, let's see. I remember seeing the poster with Jada Pinkett on it, and I was just like, oh, okay, it's kind of soon. Felt like, didn't I just see Scream? And of course, it kind of was, but, you know. New Line, or I'm sorry, Harvey Weinstein's company and Dimension Films were like, let's get this thing out, get more people interested. So, Scream 2 comes out, has pretty much the original cast back, except this time, Neve Campbell's character, Sydney's in college. So are some of the characters from the first film. Actually, only Randy and Sydney from the first film are in college. Because if you've seen the first film, you know what happened to almost everybody else. And then David Arquette shows up. Courtney Cox happens to be there. And we got a whole new bunch of cast members. Jerry O'Connell, Timothy Olyphant. the other one? Oh, Sarah Michelle Gellar's in here. Those are the names I can think off the top of my head. Oh, and Liv Schreiber. Liv Schreiber, I believe he was kind of weird in the first film. He kind of really has more of a inclusive role this time around. And pretty much, there's been a film based off of what happened in Scream. It's called Stab. A couple gets killed there, and then all of a sudden the murders start up again. But this time it's at the college, and of course the killer's coming after Sidney again. And it just turns into like who's another great, for me at least, a great mystery of who did it, why are they doing it, and who survives and who gets killed. I remember my uncle had rented the movie, and that's when I happened to borrow it and watch it on VHS. And it was cool. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. My rating, I would give it a 9 out of 10. It's just as good as the first one. Or 9 out of 10, yes, sirs. It's just as good as the first one, but there's one thing that made me not like it as much as one. And this just speaks from the heart as a movie goer, and I guess you could say geek goer, and you know, I happen to be a geek in certain avenues, and it was just certain scene happened where somebody got killed, and I was not too happy about that. And I'm sorry, I know a lot more people have come out and said that, but I was pissed. I didn't see that coming, and I just was like, how could you do that? You know, I at least wound them, not kill them. But Wes, you know, that's Wes Craven for you. The great Wes Craven, he has a way of doing things, and that's how they felt they had to do it. So I was like, okay, well, still gonna enjoy the film. And the violence was more. The death scenes were a little bit more elaborate. The gore was upped. Sidney was... The one thing I liked about Sidney's time around is she was more so even more defiant with the killer as opposed to the first film. She was very more vocal about what she would say, even though she still had her scream moments too. The relationship with Dewey and Gale, Courtney Cox and David Arquette, was very off-putting with each other for obvious reasons, and they started to really become more bonding at times. And I think after this film, or if not before it, Courtney Cox and David Arquette were an item. They were dating. I don't think they were married yet. I'm not sure. I think they get married by the time of 3 or after 3. Wasn't anything I didn't like. It was just straightforward, very entertaining. There was just that one scene. I would give this a perfect score if it wasn't for that one scene, because I like 2 just as much as 1. I felt like it's just like 1 is the A side, and if you flip the vinyl over, 2 is the B side of the vinyl. It's almost felt like one full story. So I would say, if you've seen 1, you liked 1, watch 2. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I'm just like, was there anything that was too out there? No. Yeah. Very great film. So with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.